Okay, today I'm going over the next section in chapter 1 called The Illusion of Needs. It says, "You who want peace can find it only by complete forgiveness." It also says, "Until the separation, which is the meaning of the fall, nothing was lacking. There were no needs at all. Needs arise only when you deprive yourself. You act accordingly to the particular order of needs you establish. This in turn depends on your perception of what you are." All right, what is all that talking about? This paragraph tells us, with lots of words, that only love exists and nothing else. When we believe that something else is happening, we are having a mistaken perception of lack, where we think there's something we need and that we would be better off in a state different from the one that we're in. The grass is always greener, right? This is what egos are always doing. The grass is always greener. Belief in separation is only a mistaken perception of ours. All we need to do is change our perception, and we can choose to do that. That's where our power is. It's in the choice that we can choose. So our power is in the choice that allows us to escape this mistaken prison world of lack and separation. So that's what this first paragraph is telling us, that only love is real and nothing else exists. And then it uses a whole bunch of other words to keep saying that same idea over and over and over again. And honestly, that's what the entire course is saying over and over and over again. Only love exists, extending out eternally. Nothing else exists. All right, paragraph 2. This paragraph describes how the mistaken idea of levels came to be. As soon as we had the tiny mad idea, where for a brief moment we wondered what it would like to be separate from God, we immediately made 2 levels. Right there, it happened. The levels started. We had the level of the ego and the level of spirit, right? So ego, consciousness, split mind, this is where the levels begin. And it was made from our one mistaken thought. So we then continued this mistaken thought of levels with different needs, and then mistakenly repeated that pattern in our dream world with endless levels and endless amounts of different needs because of the belief in lack. That's all it came from. So in the beginning, we're just one, extending love with God. Then as the one child of God, we were a little curious. We thought, I wonder what it would be like to be separate from God. We had our tiny mad idea. We forgot to laugh in that moment. We forgot to laugh at the silliness of our tiny mad idea. That's why part of waking up out of this dream that we're having includes so much laughter, because that's what we're supposed to be doing with this illusory world that we made up. We're supposed to be laughing at it because it's silly. It's not real. It's not true. It's a crazy nightmare dream game that we made up and trapped ourselves in with our mind, with our perception. So another way to deepen that mistake, to deepen the misthought, the miscreation that we had, is to continuously be making new levels, splitting off, more separation, more different needs for different, so-called beings, in the illusory world. So many different needs, so many different levels. It's all pretend, and it's all designed to make things super complicated and have many places where the grass is greener on the other side, right? So that the ego can constantly seek and do not find. It can be endlessly searching within the illusory world and never figure out, oh, if I just laugh at this silly idea, I can go home to God and I don't have to do this anymore. All right. So paragraph 2 is all about those levels. Let's see, what did I underline from paragraph 2? A sense of separation from God is the only lack you really need correct. All right. There's only one problem and one solution. The one problem is we think we separated from God, and the one solution is to know that that's not true and we never separated from God. It's the only one we need to correct. Oh, and look at that. It's the only thing I underlined in the paragraph. That's the crux of it. That's what the Course is telling us. All right, third paragraph. Paragraph 3 is talking about our belief in order of needs and how very lost we are in the endless levels that we mistakenly believe in. You cannot behave effectively while you function on different levels. All right? We need to let go of the levels. The levels keeps us confused. We need to first understand that we are the same as all of our brothers and that we are the one child of God before we can understand that we are one with God. Okay, so I wrote that referring to where it says here, however, while you do, correction must be introduced vertically from the bottom up. This is because you think you live in space where concepts such as up and down are meaningful. Ultimately, space is as meaningless as time. Both are merely beliefs. All right. So we created all these levels. We made all these levels. We made time, the concept of time. We made up all of these things for us to make a world of separation, but also the Holy Spirit part of our mind is using this pretend world that we made up as a tool for us to go home and remember. So the more we let go of all the different levels, of all the different so-called needs that we think that we have at all these different levels, the more that we let go of that, the more that we can become aligned with and feel the oneness that we are already experiencing with God in heaven, which is a state of mind of oneness and togetherness. And the reason it's saying that we need to approach it vertically first is because we think we live in this world of time and space, and we think there's order of difficulties, and we think that there's a hierarchy of beings, with God at the top and Jesus, Holy Spirit, somewhat in the middle, and us lost in our egos all the way down here at the bottom. We made all this up. It's not real. There is no such thing as space and time. But while we think we're here in it, while we think we're here in space and time, we need to help our mind break out of it by using some of the concepts and thoughts that it still believes is real to help us start to understand that it's not real and how to get out of it. I know that sounded complicated. Sorry. So, first, we need to realize, as we're very, very lost in this dream world, that we are the same as everyone else. Before we can understand that we are the same as God and that we are one with God and that, none of these people, things, whatever out in the world are even really there. So, our first step in slowly waking up out of this is to understand that all of these things that we see out in the world, not only are they not there, but they're the same as us in form, in spirit form. They're the same as us. So that's step one before we can make our way back to God. Okay, paragraph 4 is explaining to us that because in truth we were created by God to be just like God, which is a powerful creator, we therefore believe in our creations or miscreations in the same way that God has perfect faith in his creations. All right. So as God is creating, just extending love all the time, God also created us, the one child of God, with God's extension of love. All right. And God has perfect faith in all of his creations. All right. He has perfect faith in love. He has perfect faith in the constant extension of love. He has perfect faith in us as his one child of God. And because he created us in his image, meaning in spirit, not these bodies, okay, not these, these aren't even here, but in spirit. And therefore, the true creator that we are, that mistakenly made this entire world we think we're in, the true creator we are, being just like God, we have perfect faith in our creations. This is why we believe this world is real. This is why we believe that everything that's happening all the time is real, because we have perfect faith in our creations, just like God does. But it's all mistaken. We put it all in the wrong place, in the wrong department. We put it in the illusory lack, separation, fear department. That's where we have put our perfect faith. But luckily, those of us who are interested in teachings like A Course in Miracles or anything similar to it, um, is searching for truth. Some part of our mind knows, wait a minute, something's not right here. Let me keep searching to figure out what in the world is going on here. So when we start seeking, that's the Holy Spirit part of our mind, the Jesus part of our mind, the awakened part of our mind that's thinking, I think something's up here. I think I need to investigate. And that's when we start on our awakening, on our spiritual journey. Okay? Because some part of us knows that as much as we have put our perfect faith in this illusory world, that it doesn't feel right. Something's wrong here, right? Our inner knowingness knows that. That's why we want to learn what the Course is teaching us. So when we follow that inner knowingness and we follow that voice inside of us, it leaves us breadcrumbs to follow on a path back home to God. And when we understand that we are all one and we are all love, that helps us go back to our truth, back to God. All right, let's see. So paragraph 4, the very first line says, the real purpose of this world is to use it to correct your unbelief. That's it. That's what this world is for. It's not here. It's an illusion. It's a dream. And we have a mistaken belief. We put perfect faith into our illusion. So we need to correct it because that's not correct. And that's what it says this world is for. The real purpose of this world, right? This illusory world that we mistakenly made with our mind, with our thoughts, with our miscreation. The real purpose of this world is to use it to correct your unbelief. I love all the twisty, turny words that the Course is using all the time. Sometimes it does double negatives. It's very funny, but it's just trying to get us, because we've had perfect faith in our belief in this illusory world, and it's unconscious and it's a habit, it's a routine, it's something we just really don't think about. The Course uses all these twisty turny words to take our mind on this journey so that we don't just lazily fall into habit of the way that we're used to constantly thinking about things. That's why the Course is written. I mean, it's written the way it's written for many, many reasons, but that's one of them, is that we have to work hard, our mind, to understand what the Course is saying. And it's just trying to train our mind to think about things, see things, and interpret things in a different way. But the problem is that it's so complicated. It scared many people away, which is why I'm making these videos, because as complicated and sophisticated as the messages of the Course can sound, especially the way it's written, it's actually incredibly simple. And so that's why I wanted to make these videos, to break it down so we could help each other wake up and remember. And that's why I'm not nearly as fancy as a lot of these other Course teachers with, in all sorts of ways. I'm not fancy at all. That's one of the things I loved about Ken Wapnick is, he was just such a down-to-earth person who had no problem admitting all of his human flaws, and he never let it stop him. He didn't care because he knew that it was all an illusion. So all the times that my ego self might feel fear, intimidation, whatever, because I'm never going to present myself as polished and perfect and sophisticated in any way. It's just not who I am as a person. And it's not my message. It's not my vibe. It's not my thing. So Just truth and authenticity is my thing. And in this world of imperfection, there's imperfection everywhere. So I don't have any problem showing my imperfection. And I'm not trying to hide my imperfection at any time. So I love the fact that, Ken stuttered, yet he still spoke publicly all the time. He always made fun of himself, that he was always a disheveled mess. He couldn't even dress himself. His wife would pick out his outfits for him if they had anywhere important to go. That he was always spilling on himself, that, things like that. He was always making fun of him and saying the wrong thing, whatever. I very much identify with that. And I don't ever let it stop me from speaking my mind or putting myself out there, even though my ego may want to stop me at times. I really don't let it stop me, because at the end of the day, I'm here as a vessel for spirit. So even though it may seem messy at times, my message is pure. Okay. So, paragraph 5. Only the creations of God are real. All aspects of fear are untrue because they do not exist at the creative level and therefore do not exist at all. So the Course is just trying to tell us over and over and over and over again, this world doesn't exist. It's not really here. The only thing that's real is love and spirit. That's it. So here are these beautiful prayers that it has given us in this paragraph. Perfect love casts out fear. If fear exists, there is not perfect love. But only perfect love exists. If there is fear, it produces a state that does not exist. Okay? This is all a way of saying that the only thing that's real is love. Fear is an illusion. That's what it's saying. Let's see. The last line says, believe this and you will be free. Only God can establish this solution, and this faith is his gift. All right. So in this illusory world, we think, there's, lack and the opposite of lack, and therefore a gift would be the opposite of lack. And so the way we've designed everything in our illusory world, we think of it as, God is the separate thing outside of us, and he's giving us this gifts, and he's even a he, right? He indicates duality. There is no duality. So even the word he, the pronoun, is a lie. It's a lie. But it's words that we have to use within our illusory world because this is the way we talk. So that's why it's always speaking to us, this Course, on two different levels. The level of illusion, where we think we are, level of form, and the level of content of spirit, where we really are. It's always speaking to us at both of those levels. So no matter what you work out in your mind, in the end, there is only one of us. We are one with God, and we are pure love and light. That's it. No matter which way you go about it, no matter which way you try to explain it, no matter which way you try to discover it or hide from it, it doesn't stop it from being true. It's never going to not be true. So that's what this world is for. As this section was telling us, it's for the purpose of waking up and understanding the big lie that we've told ourselves. And that's what this Course is for. It's a tool to help us wake up in this illusory world, to go home to God. And we do that by constantly practicing forgiveness, which is the miracle. When we use our spiritual sight to know that everyone and everything is just spirit. Oftentimes I'll just picture it as a ball of light. Recently, I've been really using the word, I like the word disperse. Spirit gave it to me, the word disperse. I was in some pain, some illusory mistaken pain a few weeks back, and having a little talk with Spirit in my mind. And Spirit gave me this word, disperse. Oh, I love it. It makes me feel so good when I say it and I act it out with my energy, because what it's telling me to do is similar to the exercise I've talked about before in other videos, where instead of focusing on all the separate things you see, you focus on the space in between that connects us all. Okay, so when we focus on the space in between, we're feeling the oneness that we all really are. So when I say the word disperse, to myself. I disperse into that oneness, into that empty space that's in between all the seemingly separate things. And then literally physically, I can feel myself becoming one with everyone and with God, with spirit. So I love that word disperse. As I've said in the past, I can visualize everything just as a white ball of light, everyone, everything in the universe. And that's a reminder to me of the truth. So that's another way I do it. And then the other thing that I've been saying to myself a lot recently, because of the difficulty that I have to deal with in my illusory world on a regular basis, uh, if I choose to see it that way. So when I'm in pain, the words don't make it real. That's really been helping me recently. Don't make it real. Usually I don't like negative words. I don't like don't and things like that. And that's one of the reasons I had difficulty with the course in the beginning, because there's a lot of don'ts and double negatives and things like that. I felt like it was coming from a very negative point of view, and I had difficulty with it for a lot of years because of that. But I don't see it that way anymore. As I've said before, words are just symbols of symbols. And however we can use them to trick our mind out of what's false and into what's real, please use them. Use the words however you need to use them to trick your mind into um, releasing the ego. So for me, the words don't make it real have really been helping me, because it's just an immediate reminder of, oh, I forgot I made it real again. Because every time we're feeling any kind of pain, we have made this illusory world real. And an immediate way out of pain is to not make it real. Is to remember it's just a dream. And I'm getting better and better and better at it as time is going on. And that doesn't mean it's like this, the entire time I'm working on the course. I love the stage that I'm in now. I love that I'm letting go and not making it real and remembering to disperse and letting myself be a vessel for God. I love this stage, but I'm also not attached to it. Every time I vibe real, real high, typically I will always see my ego come in and present something in my illusory world to make me forget that it's not real, to make me make it real, and then bring my vibe down. And every time I do that, it's okay. It's not something I feel guilty for or that I punish myself for or anything. I just know, oh, silly ego. It's having a little temper tantrum again, and it noticed that I was feeling real good, and it didn't like that, and it's come in full force to try to stop that. And oh, silly me, I fell for it for however long, a day, a week, a month, however long I fell for it. And oh, I'm so glad I remembered again not to make it real. And then you can just exit the dream, exit the illusion, and know that it's just a tool, just like this section was telling us. This world is only here as a tool for us to help us to wake up out of it and know that it's not real. Okay? So let's do that together. Let's keep reminding ourselves. And the most powerful way that we can remind ourselves and everyone else is by practicing forgiveness. We don't have to say a word, we don't have to speak it. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. All you need to do is forgive. See everyone and everything as pure love and light, God source creation as they really are. And every time you do that, you're reinforcing to your one mind and to everyone else's one mind that we are love. We are spirit.